right, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise and honor and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Yahweh Kakwadash. I'm going to give double honors to the apostle of Great Millstone, who rule well, teach well, and I want to say Shalom to the whole elect. All right, with the things that's brewing on and going on in the world, mainly, the buildup of World War III. Biden just announced that today that he was going to send like 2,000 troops over there to Ukraine or help with the Ukraine mission, and as far as sending into Ukraine and Europe, right? I don't know how far they're gonna go into Ukraine, or if they're gonna actually go into Ukraine, just be at the borders of it on the other side, or just be on the other, just be there within their borders by means of be within the realm of their borders by means of like communication. All right. So they'll help from a distance from like somewhere in Europe, okay? But those things are, starting up World War III. And within World War III starting up, the Lord is going to have Babylon destroyed by these nations, Korea, Russia, China, Iran, whoever else is not with the NATO and America, right? But China, Russia, and North Korea, they, Russia especially, they may play, major roles. They will play major roles in the destruction of America. So with me saying that, the premise from this lesson is going to be the destruction of America, but it's going to be by way, it means of Yahweh Shema Shai. World War III is one means of the Lord destroying this place. All right, but we're going to speak more specifically on the Lord Yahweh Shai destroying this place. All right, this is Isaiah 14 and 5. Yahweh have broken the now I'm starting. This is Isaiah 14 and 3. And it shall come to pass in that day, Yahweh shall give rest to thee from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from thy hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. So the Lord's going to give us rest from this place, all right, in the day of salvation, in the days to come, all right. Verse 4 says, that thou shalt take up this parable against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased, all right. So America, through its doctrines and philosophies and wars, has oppressed the whole world, okay, all right. Verse 5 says, oh, and those that are speaking against Babylon, the prophets of the Lord, like in Jeremiah's time and Isaiah's time. All right. The Lord had them to prophesy against Babylon in the time of, for the time after Nebuchadnezzar, when Belshazzar was in the rulership seat. The Lord had Babylon taken over by Cyrus the Great. Okay. That was about 539 BC. But we are speaking in the sense of the scripture referring to the daughter of Babylon, okay, which is America, okay, and the Lord Yahweh is going to destroy this place, okay. Verse 5, Isaiah 14 and 5 says, Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers, okay. So if we read that in the NLT, Isaiah 14 and 5, it says, for Yahweh has crushed your wicked power and broken your evil rule. Okay, so the wicked power of who? Babylon. Who is running Babylon? You so-called white people, the Edomites. Okay, the Lord has broken your wicked power and broken your evil rule. All right, how is Esau ruling? By way of the sword, by way of his doctrine, his philosophies, the thing that he pushes on the people, his wisdom, so to speak, that his worldly wisdom. That's how Esau is ruling. Okay, and the Lord is going to break that. Okay. He's going to break it by, Yahweh's going to break it by means of Yahweh Shai, okay? Yahweh Shai is coming in with the wrath of the Heavenly Father, okay? It said, he who smote the people in wrath and with continual stroke, he ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindered, okay? So nobody's going to, Esau's going to be persecuted, man, for all the things that he's done, the rape, robbery, murder. I seen a little video today about the Manifest Destiny. This lady was explaining how Jake, Issachar had owned the primary west of America, all right, and the colonies, the 13 colonies, they were trying to expand westward, so that caused a war between America and New Mexico, and they eventually signed some treaty, and this treaty was broken, of course, by America, because look at how far forth America stretches. Okay, so they didn't keep their end of the treaty, and that's generally how it goes when with the oppression of Esau. He makes treaties with people and he breaks them. So he's going to be destroyed with that because he's not keeping the vow, right? He's not keeping his oath. Also, for the pillaging, the rape, robbing, the murder, the diseases that he's calling the bloodshed, okay, all those things are the reasons why the Lord is going to destroy America, okay? But going back to Isaiah 14:5, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the ruler. So how has that happened? First of all, it was written, well, it was spoken of by Yahweh, okay, Yahweh Shemal Shai. And then secondly, it was written, okay, by the prophets, all right, Moses, the prophets, all right. And then it was spoken by the prophets, okay. All right, it was spoken by the Lord Yahweh Shai, okay. Um, and now it was spoken, then it was spoken by the apostles, and now it's being spoken in this time, all right, by the men of the Lord that was set up to speak about the destruction of America, okay. All right. Prophecy was spoken. That's my whole point. Prophecy was spoken from, from Moses to Yahushua, from Yahushua to the apostles, from the apostles until to the recent apostles that you have of Great Millstone to today, and from their fruits all the way down forth. Okay. All right. So the curse, the staff is gonna be of the wicked is gonna be broken. All right. Let me go into Revelation. This is the 19th chapter. It's gonna be broken by Yahushua. And this is Revelation 19 and 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. All right, so Yahushua is faithful. He was faithful to the commandments of the Heavenly Father. And also, he's the way of life. All right, Yahushua is the way, the truth, and the life. Okay, no man can get to him but by means of Yahweh. Nobody can get to the Heavenly Father but by means of Yahushua. All right. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and upon his head were many crowns. All right, he broke down the nations. All right, especially here in Babylon. Okay, all right, he crushed the staff of the ruler and broke the wicked, broke the power of the wicked. Okay, this verse paraphrasing what it said in Isaiah 14. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of the Most High. All right, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. It's talking about those chariots, man. It's talking about the angels. Okay, that's gonna be with Yahweh when they destroy this place. Okay, all right. Let me get this right quick. And this is Jude 1 and 14. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord, all right, which here is speaking about Yahweh, cometh with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment upon all and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds and which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. So those that spoke against the words of Yahweh Shema Shai, Shalom Shati Yahweh Shema Shai Bashim Kakadash Barakatah. All right, verse 16 it says the murmurers, complainers, walking after their own lust, and their mouth speaketh great swelling words, have men's persons in admiration because of advantage. Okay. So the Lord's going to destroy the wicked man. That's the whole point. All right. The Lord's going to clear and destroy the wicked. All right. Let me go back to Revelations. And this is something that is said over and over again. Okay. And it's said over and over again to get the people to understand, and to get the people that are supposed to fear the Lord to fear the Lord, because when Yahushua comes, it's not going to be a sight to see, man. Okay, and the scriptures say that every knee is going to bow at the return of the Lord, and that's going to be a great thing. Okay, that every knee is going to give reverence to the Heavenly Father and the Son, man. Okay, give glory to where glory is due. But going back into Revelations 19, it says, this is Revelation 19 and 15. It says, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and should rule them with the rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of all the fierceness of the wrath of the Almighty power. All right, so the Lord's going to be coming out here giving harsh judgment to people, man. Okay, if you go into Isaiah 13 and like 16, I'm gonna just read it, because this is harsh, man. This is harsh. This is the judgment that the Lord is going to be bringing out here, man, for the wicked of our people and for the wicked of the world. You know, these other nations, especially Esau. This is Isaiah 13 and 16. This is what happened to you when you joined unto Babylon. It says, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Okay, so that's going to happen in the time of the destruction of Babylon. All right, and that's what's going to happen to the wicked. All right, we don't have to worry about that. Yahweh design, man. All right, verse 16, it says, this is Revelation 19 and 16, and he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. All right, and that's talking about Yahushua, man. So let's go to Daniel, the second chapter, right quick, because this is where it was written of and spoken of in prophecy, where the Lord Yahushua was going to reign after all these other kingdoms was taken down, man. And we are in the last kingdom, man, and the Lord is about to come through and take this kingdom down. All right, this is Daniel chapter 2. This is when Daniel was speaking to Nebuchadnezzar, the dream of that golden imagery that he saw. All right, this is Daniel 2 and 44. And in the days of those kings shall the power of the heavens set up a kingdom which will never be destroyed. And that's the kingdom of the Lord. That's the kingdom that we're going to inherit. All right, through the blessings of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people. That means nobody's going to rule, okay, after and or during the rule of Yahushua, man, okay? But only the Israelites is going to rule. That's it, man. That's how much the Heavenly Father loves us, okay? Right here it says, continuing on, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So the kingdoms of the Syrian Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, this modern day Roman Empire, aka America, and NATO and the EU and all that's tied to America. Okay, the Lord is going to destroy it. All right, it's going to break it in pieces. All right, and where it says right here, in verse 44, where it says break, it says crush, literally crushed. Okay, all right. And it says for consume, it says literally to put to an end. That's what it says in my footnotes. And that's how this kingdom going. That's how these kingdoms are going to go down, and they're not going to rise back up again. Okay, because the Lord is literally going to put them to an end. Right. Verse 45, it says, "For as much as thou sawest the stone was cut out of the mountain with thy hands, and it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power which is Yahweh hath made known to the king, what shall come to pass hereafter." That means after the times of the Babylonians, all right, after the times of the Greeks, after the times of the Persians, after the time of the Romans, and after this time in modern day Babylon or modern day Rome. Hereafter, okay, after all these kings, after all these times, okay, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. So after all those kingdoms, I'm just repeating that. After all those kingdoms, all right, the Lord's kingdom is going to be set up, man. Okay, that's what Daniel was talking to, telling King Nebuchadnezzar. All right. Let me see what else did I. Oh yeah, second Ezra. And then you go into Isaiah 63, and it'll tell you about how the Lord, basically just, destroyed the nations on his own, just like it said in Revelation 19th chapter. This is 2nd Ezra 13. I'm going to read a little bit in this. This is 2nd Ezra 13 and 1. This matches up with Revelations 19. All right, it says, and it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed the dream by night. So Ezra was fasting, like the angel Uriel commanded him. And it says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. So again, this is another reason why every knee shall bow when the Lord Yahushua comes, because everybody, it says that when he turned his face to look, everybody trembles. So everybody's gonna be bowing, man. Okay, the Lord's gonna put it in their spirit to bow down unto him. Okay, and it goes again into the thousands of angels that Enoch was prophesying about in his time. All right, when it says the thousands of heaven. Verse 4 says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth filleth when it filleth the fire. So that's heavy judgment from the Lord, man. All right, that's a severe sentence from the Lord, man. How are you going to burn by fire, man? All right, the Lord's gonna be shooting from out of his spaceship, or the angels in their chariots, they're gonna be shooting laser beams, man. All right. That's a serious judgment, man, to be burned to a crisp, all right? To be burnt to dust, okay? Verse 5 says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. But beheld, and lo, but I beheld, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region of the place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet there's fight. That's because the Lord had to put the spirit on him, man. Okay, they saw this so-called Negro jump upon the chariot. All right, and they were scared to fight him. All right. And verse 9 it says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks of tempest. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived but only the dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. All right. So what Ezra saw in his vision, it got him scared, man. Okay, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna read the interpretation of the dream. All right, okay, gotta find it. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 25 and 13 and 25. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. And we know that man to be Yahushua. All right. It says the same is he whom the most high, the highest, hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and shall order them that are left behind. So the elect are going to be delivered, man. Okay. All right, and they're going to be delivered by Yahushua. Verse 27. Whereas thou sawest out of his mouth there came a blast of wind and a fire and a storm and they and that he held neither sword nor any any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude, that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation, Salaki. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell upon the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, and one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, one realm against another. Okay, this earthly realm versus the spiritual realm. All right. and and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen, which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land they leave the battle they have one against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them, willing to come and be overcome by, and to overcome him by fighting, but he shall stand up upon the top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come, and he shall be shewed to all men, being prepared and built like as thou sawest the hill graven without. And this is my son, and this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life all are fallen into the tempest. And they shall lay before them their evil thoughts and their torments, wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like a flame. He shall destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto fire. All right. So the Lord's going to destroy these people, man. Sorry that was kind of long, but it's just speaking about how the Lord is going to destroy them. He's going to righteously judge them, because we know the Lord, like it says in Revelation 19:19, the Lord doth judge righteously and make war. Okay. So the Lord's going to win the war. We're going to get in the kingdom. We're going to be righteous. We're going to have law, statutes, commandments on our inward parts. And we're going to be at peace and rest forever, man. Just remember that nothing that you receive here is it lacks in comparison to what you're going to receive in the kingdom. All right, so the Lord's coming to destroy. The Lord's coming to destroy, and we got to get right, man. So Lord willing us edify. I want to give all praise and honor and glory unto you. How about Shem Shai, by Shem HaRakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles of great no stone who will teach well. And I want to say shalom to the whole that Kwam Yasharala and my wife, Father Bar. Shalom. Shalom. How about Shem Shai Barakatah? Shalom to you. How about Shem Shai Barakatah? Be safe. Shalom.